Story 1. Knowing that the only constant is change, good and bad times will ebb and flow. Just take care of yourself in the meantime and wait it out. Story 2. I'm not going to lie to you. This might be upsetting to some people, but this has been my experience with attempting in the past, and this is how I make sense of it. The mind and body are resilient. They thrive in the harshest situations and conditions. Because of this, successfully ending one's life is a difficult thing to do. You can want it for yourself wholeheartedly, drained of the will to live, but your body will mostly physically stop you from doing it. The feeling is like trying to run in a dream or move during sleep paralysis. You want to, you're telling your body to, as you naturally would, but your body resists in a significant way. Because of this, I have been wildly unsuccessful. Story 3. I started practicing gratitude, even though it is hard to do that when I am feeling depressed. I made it a habit to write down one thing I am grateful for each day, and I bought a pink gratitude journal, which really helped. I also began drinking more water and going on walks, even if it is just for 10 minutes. Story 4. Major depression is diagnosed here. I give myself things to do, so whenever thoughts of suicidality arise, I can counter with, yeah, but I have things to do. This has worked more or less since I was 19. You can almost always find something to occupy your time. Story 5. I think you may need a personal era. Get a good therapist, join a gym, and spend weekends doing things you used to love, like listening to music that made you happy. You may not feel better immediately, but keep at it. Neurons are resilient and will eventually return to a healthy pattern. Story 6. Antidepressants are a miracle. For a long time, I tried all the above suggestions with no results. Every day, I fought the urge to jump off my balcony. Zoloft works. Story 7. I realized it wasn't that I didn't want to live. I wanted the pain to stop and to find joy in life. I hope you find your reason to keep going. Story 8. My best friend will take the physician licensure exam during the last week of March and the first week of April. Until then, I should avoid doing anything foolish. She needs to stay focused, and I can help with that. Story 9. My medically complex cat requires specialized care. I can't imagine anyone but me taking care of her the way she needs and deserves to be cared for. As long as she's here, I'm here too. Story 10. If you need immediate assistance, please call or text 988. If you would like something more personal, feel free to reach out to me directly. My direct messages are open. I have experienced a lot and am very familiar with the darkness within myself. I have been struggling with these thoughts since I was 7 years old. What keeps me going is the impact my actions would have on my family if I were to take my life. Additionally, I aim to bring as much light to the lives of others as possible. I want to help others never feel the way I have. There is good to be done in this world, and I have dedicated my life to that goal. I still feel sad and overwhelmed at times, but my overwhelming desire to help others keeps me here. Story 11. Spite and time eventually lead to growth. You keep going, and one day you realize you are better. Story 12. Thinking of others, especially my children and grandchildren, is important. It is not right to act selfishly. Therapists may not always express this directly. Story 13. It is against my beliefs to harm myself, so I guess it is the only rule that keeps me alive. However, I think if it were allowed, I would have been gone long ago. Story 14. I am 37 years old and have struggled with depression my entire life. My answer, which I do not recommend as a solution for others, is being around and providing for children. It gives me a sense of purpose and fulfillment that I have not found anywhere else. I have had 3 godchildren since I was 17, and the youngest was just born. They have literally saved my life. My daughter is now 21, and I recently had my first biological child. My son is 5, and I would never give up any of them in my life. Story 15. Therapy, especially eye movement desensitization and reprocessing therapy and Spravato esketamine spray, finally broke the cycles. Story 16. I was first diagnosed with clinical depression as a teenager. Plagued me for many years. At one point, I read the book The Depression Cure by Dr. Stephen Ilardi. It's a lifestyle approach to treating depression. I have never taken medication for depression but have gone through heavy episodes, literally not leaving my bed for days, not even for the bathroom or water, and self-harm. I was at one of those low points when I came across this book. Slowly, I started implementing its recommendations. I have not been able to do everything, but some of the practices are now constant in my life, like sun exposure and movement. Others, such as adequate sleep, I still struggle with. The lifestyle the book recommends, as I have been able to implement it, has improved my depression immensely. I am not cured, but it is manageable. I still have episodes, but they are few and far between and very mild. During those days, I am very sensitive to frustration, and most things take more effort than normal, but I still muster the effort. Story 17. I don't have the will to live. Suicide might seem like an option, but I don't want to risk coming back. If I knew for sure it would be over, I would leave. Story 18. I have been diagnosed with bipolar depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and more. My daily relationship with Jesus Christ and His Word, the Bible, helps me more than any psychiatry, which failed to assist me. Please consider Psalm 34 verses 17 to 18. When the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears and delivers them out of all their troubles. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. 2 Corinthians 7 verse 6. But God, who comforts the downcast, comforted us by the coming of Titus. Isaiah 41 verse 10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. 1 Peter 5 verse 7. Casting all your anxieties on him, because he cares for you. See Ephesians 6 verses 13 to 18 for the full armor of God as well. Story 19. It's all about cracking the code. Knowing that on the days you face adversity, you may feel it is your worst day. Perhaps you even said, "This is the worst day of my life." Take note of how you got through it and overcame it. You need to realize that you are fully capable of overcoming that adversity. The only time you truly lose is when you give up. This may help someone, or perhaps I am just typing on my phone with no audience. But life gets better, and sometimes you have to struggle or make changes. Keep fighting the good fight. Story 20. As silly as this is, I remember a few things. First, my elementary students need me. They need their teacher who loves them. Second, my husband and our pets need me too. Lastly, it always passes and gets better. Additionally, it helps that I always have a short vacation to look forward to once we go on summer break. Story 21. Sunlight, good sleep, a multivitamin, and regular exercise can address many causes of depression. While they may not resolve every issue, it is worth a try if you haven't done so already. Story 22. Walking, exercising, eating well, pursuing hobbies, enjoying nature, and spending time with family help minimize my depression and leave me feeling energized. Story 23. I keep going because signing off early isn't a solution to the problems. Sometimes I want to do just that, but I then remember how unreliable people never take me at my word. It would be a wasted action. Story 24. I am going on a trip for 2 weeks with my best friends to reset my mentality. I am really looking forward to it. Story 25. Knowing that my wife would find me and have to clean up the mess, and she wouldn't be able to go to that part of the house ever again. That is literally the only reason I don't take that step. Story 26. Being interested in guitars and electronics can enhance your mood and encourage you to get involved in building projects. Story 27. I continue to live because I am waiting for my mom to be gone someday. I am not sure what I plan to do after that, though. Story 28. I won't go as far as to say it gives me the will to live. But there's a kind man living in my house who seems to genuinely like me. The thought of hurting him and leaving him to deal with all the mess is troubling. Story 29. Clinically depressed but never suicidal. Checking in. For me, things are just hard. It's not enough to make me want to end it, but enough to feel it constantly. The good outweighs the bad by far because I'm alive. Now that I have a child, everything is harder and much more worth living for. Story 30. For me, it was my faith. I had made the decision to end it all, but my cousin intervened and introduced me to God. There is a biblical scripture that really touched me. Psalm 139 verses 14 to 16, New King James Version. 14 I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. 15 My frame was not hidden from you, when I was made in secret, and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. 16 Your eyes saw my substance, being yet unformed. And in your book they all were written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them. Story 31. I gave myself permission to live as I needed to live. My emotions are a shade deeper and harsher than what other people allow themselves to feel, and that's not a bad thing. I let myself feel whatever I feel without resistance. It's not fun to feel everything, and depression itself isn't enjoyable, but it's a part of my life, and I have every right to live my life as I need to for me. Naps, journaling, and trips to the graveyard for perspective, along with eating how I feel, which for me means a high-protein, low-carbohydrate diet. Sugar kills, seriously. I stopped trying to entertain and distract myself constantly with television, books, and music, and focused on what is not a burden to let into my system. I mostly just want some quiet and to visit the trees sometimes or the stars at night. I go wild with creative outlets, and that helps me make sense of the emotions and darkness inside. I wear what I want, say what I want, and pretty much do what I want apart from handling regular life tasks, which I can also approach on my own terms. I don't have to rush, and I don't have to take everyone's word for it. My intuition is strong. I live by the principle of not harming others and not harming myself as best as I can. When I dealt with heavy suicidal thoughts, I learned I could tell those thoughts no. I don't choose that. I simply decided I don't choose that, which helped me spend less time in that state. I made it not an option for me because the truth is, I don't want to die. I want to live, but in a sustainable way for me. Now, there is truly something you can't manage, and that is hormone imbalances. Get those checked because if your hormones are out of balance, it wrecks your life. Don't mess with hormones. Avoid as much as you can that interferes with your hormones. Ladies, this includes birth control. Condoms are a great option, and we made a mistake when we started using pills and other hormonal methods instead of accepting the perfectly fine option of responsible condom use that doesn't affect our bodies. Story 32. My cat and I want to prove to my abusers that they did not win. If they wanted me to be quiet, they should have ended me. Story 33. I didn't want my parents to find me dead. Now that my dad has passed, I don't want my mom to be alone and potentially follow my lead. She had both her parents pass away year after year, and now my dad. I can't add to her pain. Story 34. My goddaughter, niece, and nephews. Hearing them call me uncle and seeing them smile is more than enough reason not to take my own life. Also, my ego. Story 35. My friends would be devastated to learn of my self-destruction. I also bring joy to others, so I cannot diminish the value of comedians, especially in today's world. Story 36. For me, it's mainly three things. 1. I think about what I would miss if I weren't around to experience it. It can be anything I'm looking forward to, no matter how silly or important it is. It can be living to see the Elder Scrolls 6 finally release or living to see my first nephew or niece be born. I have always wanted to publish a book, but I've never actually finished anything. I'm determined to make that happen now. I can't do that, of course, if I'm dead. I've always been passionate about writing fictional worlds. I don't want to give up until I've tried everything first. Death is a certainty. It doesn't need our help. But life is something we only experience once. To cut it short feels wasteful. I'm going through therapy, taking medication, and currently undergoing transcranial magnetic stimulation to stimulate the mood center of my brain. I'm doing better, although I still have a long way to go. Story 37. Sometimes, it is the smallest things. A good song, the way the sun feels on your face, a pet that needs you, or the hope that tomorrow might be better. Story 38. I'm not sure if I'm feeling depressed or if my life is just difficult. Either way, I try not to think about it, and then tomorrow comes around again. Every time. Story 39. I dislike my antidepressant. It makes me feel numb, but it is the only option for me. So I take it, and occasionally my brain chemicals align and I feel okay. Story 40. Knowing that despite the 11 attempts, the cult I've been born into and the recognition I will not receive. That despite being a clueless, hormone-induced teenager who can't have any say as I only have 17 years of life experience. That I've had to hide the fact I've been sexually assaulted because I'm a guy. I have to hide all my social media because then I would be killed for Western media. I have to pretend to support the idea of killing people because of their ideologies. Despite having all that against me, I'm still here. That's right. I'm a stain against your cultist ideology, and you can't get rid of me. I'm turning the trauma you've thrown at me into world building, channeling all those assaults and all the times I've tried to end my life, all those moments of neglect into a world that you're not a part of. That is what gives me the will to live. Thank you. I'll be here for the rest of my life. Success is the best revenge, and I'm one determined teenager. Story 41. My children are simple. They need me, and I need them. I am now in a healthy relationship where we openly communicate and support each other. I have never known romantic love like this before, and it still surprises me sometimes, even after 3 years. We all have good and bad days. I have been in a slump lately, but I know my children look up to me, and I need to be there for them. Story 42. Knowing that ending it all would haunt my mother, sister, girlfriend, her family, and several close friends forever. Story 43. Because I have been through several traumatic experiences by the time I was 17. One day, I came to the realization that it takes a warrior to be able to bounce back. It may take time, but I will come back swinging because that is all I know how to do. I only know how to get back up. Story 44. Better medications in the right dosage, my daughter, who is the best thing I have ever done with my life, and the nagging feeling I cannot shake that one day I will be able to feel the things I want to feel and do the things I want to do. Something keeps telling me I am going to truly feel happy one day, and I am looking forward to it. Story 45. I only want to stay alive because I don't want to leave my child alone. I think about not being here every day, but I will never try again. Story 46. Nothing unpleasant lasts forever. Do you want to escape whatever is bringing you down? You can. It's up to you to improve your situation. No one is going to help or save you, so do it yourself. I ask myself, do I want to feel this way? Then I examine my life. What is making me feel this way? If it's internal, I let it go. If it's external, I move on. Eliminate what isn't serving you. Story 47. My family consists of narcissistic evangelicals and members of a political cult. I am not giving them the opportunity to speak about me when I am gone or use my death to further their cause. Therefore, I have been slowly setting up a will, arranging my placement, and finding a good home for my cat. Story 48. I found a psychiatrist and counselor who listened to me and empathized. I never imagined how much I was holding inside and how badly it was affecting me. I felt like my demons were released, and I had 2 people helping me fight them. I'm on a high dose of duloxetine, a dose I would never have considered without the trust one had for my doctor. I wasn't sleeping well, so she helped me with that too. I'm trying to interact more with upbeat people, and I took a painting class. Creativity can lift your mood. Listen to calming music and don't think of anything else then. Story 49. It isn't so much that I found the will to live. I just realized I didn't have a good enough reason to die. I'm still in a search for a reason to live. But I'm here, so that counts for something. Story 50. My cat. I have made many mistakes over the past couple of years, but I remind myself that my cat needs me. I am the only thing she knows. I am her world. It may sound trivial to some, but my cat has kept me mentally afloat during this time. Life is challenging. Story 51. Meeting people who have it worse than you helps. It really puts things in perspective, especially when that person doesn't complain at all. It's somewhat unsettling. I mean, I've dealt with a lot, but there are some people out there who have faced incredibly tough situations, and they often have no idea how challenging their own lives can be. Yet, they continue to go through life despite it all. Story 52. If, at the root, it is all meaningless, you might as well just play the game you have. The main goal growing up should be realizing how life is a game. Some people take video games more seriously than life itself. I believe that is something one should change. However, you cannot blame life for becoming too real when you are willing to face it. Story 53. I was 16 when my first nephew was born. Now at 24, I have 3 nephews and 2 nieces. I love them more than anything in this world. Story 54. Despite wanting to show those who doubt me, I am also finding friendships in the strangest places and experiencing random acts of kindness, either done to me or by me. Story 55. People in my life need me. I resent it sometimes, but when I think about them going on without me, I realize how selfish it would be to leave them on their own. It's not that I want to end my life. The thought of it sounds scary. What if I change my mind right after I take that final step? Do I want my last thoughts to be filled with horror and sadness? Sometimes I just want to escape. By escape, I simply want some rest. Needing rest means I'm probably neglecting my own needs, which I tend to do without realizing it. I often catastrophize and think in extremes. Story 56. I have significantly reduced my drinking, which has leveled out my emotional highs and lows. I have also focused on slowing everything down instead of constantly trying to see the big picture, which often overwhelmed me. This shift has allowed me to be more present and enjoy the moment rather than letting thoughts of future problems take that time away from me. Story 57. When I am sad, I just look beside me, and there is my dog, full of love, and his positivity is infectious. Story 58. Actively focusing on the things I am grateful for. Constantly reminding myself that it is a challenge and that it will pass. I have overcome it before and I will overcome it next time. Do not give in to despair. Do not sink into the swamp. Story 59. What gives me the right to wallow in self-pity when everyone else is suffering as well? Life is very hard for many people, and I am not special. Story 60. Story time from yesterday and today, and it kind of fits. I just want to talk about it. I moved into a room 270 kilometers from home. I have a friend at the house I'm at. Yesterday, we had lunch and went for a walk while I was doing a couple of things in the city. In the end, she wanted to see the ocean, so we took the metro. It was raining lightly at first, then heavier, cold and windy. Before coming back, she needed to use the bathroom, so we stopped at a cafe, ate a bit, and talked. I already mentioned that I feel this way, but in that cafe, I explained how I see the world as gray without a spark in it. Nothing grabs my attention or enthusiasm. She understood but couldn't fully comprehend it, and that's okay. She listened to me. Today, after about 2 months, I cooked a meal that wasn't just boiled pasta and some meat in a pan. I made a tomato-based sauce with some nice pasta and minced meat. Turned out to be too sweet, but good. Then we went to see a choral concert and stopped by another coffee shop known for their pastel de nata. I'm usually not a spender, but I felt like treating myself today. It was amazing. I love pastel de nata, and since I was emotionally tired and exposed, something about it really helped me. During that last coffee, I showed my friend pictures I have with people I no longer talk to, but who were important to me at some point, and I told her I would like to have a picture of us. At the moment, she is helping me remember that the small things are important too. I already knew this, but having a friend who I can be myself with, without masking my feelings, listen and advise me is incredibly helpful. Sadly, we will go our separate ways on May 30th, but until then, she will help me become less depressed. Story 61. My mother and dog have always been my main reasons to continue. However, my therapist looked at me with tears in her eyes and said she would be devastated if the chair in front of her was empty and I wasn't sitting there. For the first time, I felt like someone truly understood the gravity of the situation. I felt seen, heard, and known. I began to think, I have to keep going because I can't be the one to make her feel that way. Story 62. This might sound trivial, but knowing that there is a new season of a show I like coming out soon, or a new movie I am interested in, projects I still want to complete, and new music to explore keeps me motivated. Story 63. I got new medication. In all seriousness, I tried to end my life, but I survived. It was a very difficult experience, and it made me realize how much I want to live. Story 64. Find something to focus on: an addiction, a person, a story. We're already challenged, so what is one more? Story 65. Aside from the fear of death and religious reasons, I have been in a state of mind where sadness and disappointment are expected. I think being depressed is something I have accepted as normal, and the unusual moments are when I am not depressed. When that feeling becomes commonplace, you tend to become numb to it. Additionally, I can escape into creative projects, which is always helpful. Story 66. Having something to look forward to instills hope for future scenarios where I can find happiness again. It is the belief that things will improve, even if I do not feel or see it at the moment. I am committed to leaving things better than I found them, and I am not finished yet. Story 67. Death is far too permanent, like the most permanent thing imaginable. I truly want to see and experience many things, whether it be movies, music, watching my nephews grow up, or experiencing real love and connection with people. These moments make the pain of life much more bearable. Story 68. I went to 2 separate psychiatric hospitals within a month when my body and mind completely shut down, and I almost ended my life. I completed an 11-week intensive outpatient program and realized I need to advocate for myself and my mental well-being. This was last summer. Since then, I've changed jobs, set amazing boundaries, and am expecting a baby girl with my incredible husband, who has supported me through it all. I also take Effexor daily, sending love and support to my fellow depressed Reddit users who are currently in the trenches. Things do ebb and flow, but they always have the potential to get better. Story 69. I tell my cats every day that they are my reason to live. I couldn't bear to do anything that would hurt them or make them sad, so I keep going and taking care of them. When I'm at my lowest and sobbing my heart out because everything feels overwhelming and it hurts to breathe, one of my little cats always finds me and reminds me that there is some good in the world that I am honored to take care of. Story 70. I just want to challenge it to see how strong it can become over time. At this point, it feels like a partner I can't get rid of. However, I know all its tricks so far. Story 71. I find that the more I engage with my time, the less I am consumed by negative thoughts. Whether I am cooking, hiking, playing basketball, or woodworking, I am present in the moment. By the way, I am not very skilled at any of these activities. The hardest part was realizing that most people struggle when starting something new, and that's okay. Story 72. I truly don't believe there is a way off this world. I think we are the universe experiencing itself in all of its infinite possibilities. We will live all lives until the end. Hero and villain, master and slave, parent and child. All we do to others is done to us. We are never guaranteed an easy or happy life. If this one ends, another life with its own struggles will begin. I'm not ready to start over again until I get all I can out of this life. Additionally, I've lost too many friends. The pain spreads. I can't do that to anyone. I will endure. Story 73. Journaling really helped me. I felt like I had a place to express everything and work through my problems to find solutions and make plans. I tried a few different medications, but they didn't work. I also attempted therapy, but I couldn't afford it. Journaling helped me simplify my problems and feelings and understand how to deal with them. Story 74. Creating art and spreading loving kindness is important. I cannot do that to my friend who has already lost many people. They wouldn't recover from it. I always say that meditation saved my life. My friend encouraged me to attend meditation classes, and I decided to give it an honest try since nothing else was working. Through supporting other friends with depression, I have learned that my own experience is mild to moderate. Those with severe depression need professional treatment. Story 75. Mental spear-throwing management involves knowing I can reach out and make an impact. A pet rock provided me with unexpected comfort. Many years ago, I enjoyed playing simulation games. Journaling and creating art with colored pencils played a significant role in my life. This winter was bearable, while last winter brought a profound sadness. To cope, I explored the Massachusetts Institute of Technology YouTube channel, listening to free college lectures over several months, even tackling the challenging math subjects. I also watched numerous fashion shows. I took walks and collected interesting items I found on the ground, documenting them as an art project. I continue pressing on, despite feeling like I'm lacking the right tools and resources internally. Story 76. As strange as it sounds, practicing or reconnecting with sensations helped me. It felt like so much was going on in my head that small efforts to engage with my body made a difference. Simple activities like smelling candles in a store, opening windows for fresh air, or feeling cozy blankets helped me reconnect. I am fortunate to have been able to see a psychologist who started me on some medications. After trying a few, I found some that provided me enough energy and emotional stability to try an introductory yoga class at Power Life. Being around other people in a positive environment and feeling my body get a bit stronger after just one class was encouraging. A week later, I tried it again. Small, positive interactions with strangers made a significant difference for me, and it seems to have a similar effect on most people. This led to a habit and additional changes. Try small things. It's not silly to enjoy little things that people think adults should or shouldn't do. For example, one day I made the bed for tonight. Thanks to my morning self, it was nice to come home to a somewhat made bed. Sending positive thoughts your way. Story 77. Seeing my nieces brings me gratitude for being present. Thankfully, it happens often. I would never want to hurt them as it would devastate them. They are my motivation. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.